Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pnoid News, man. Listen, so I got a whole ass thing for y'all today. Man, I'll tell you what, right? Listen, things is popping off around the world. We're gonna start off with this, ILA worker strike, which is the International Longshoremen's Association. So they've been wanting to automate the ports and, stand here and take away jobs from like union guys all over the country. Because it's more important for companies to make money than for us to have fucking jobs. Because that's what it is. Because we're all supposed to go learn how to fucking code, and no wait, they're laying off coders. Um, I don't know what we're supposed to do at this point. I don't think they really care. I don't. I think that's kind of where it's at. They don't. They don't give a fuck about any of us, right? So our best bet is probably to use, mass group action to be able to stop this shit. It just tends to be how it works. Negotiate for your motherfucking wages, son. I understand it. Like, there's a lot of right wingers who probably watch my shit who are anti-union, but I don't fucking care. All right, I'm gonna keep it above. I don't fucking care. As far as I'm concerned, they're all fucking retarded. If you're anti-union, you're probably a fucking retard, right? So, let's talk about this longshoreman strike that's coming up in October, right? This is an old thing, but it does have like all the ports on it. So I like it as a map. You know what I mean? All right. So you have Houston, you got New Orleans, you got Mobile, Alabama, Savannah, Georgia, Tampa, Jacksonville, Miami, Charleston, Hampton Roads, New York, Baltimore, Wilmington, Boston, and Newark, right? Which are all like like fucking ports on the East Coast. That if there isn't an agreement reached with these companies that all want to automate the shit out of everything, and like fire all these fucking union guys and not pay them, then the guys are gonna go on strike and everything's gonna end up getting closed down. Now, here's the thing, right? Um you need workers, right? You need people to earn money. You need family sustaining jobs. And the more we push this ideology that like human beings, because they're not educated, cost us problems because, we all want cheap stuff. The worse it gets for everybody, right? In the end of the day. That's kind of, yeah, Time Force, I agree with you. Like, everybody's kind of tired of these unions voting for the fucking left. But the problem is that right wingers for the past 40 years have, been anti-union, starting with guys like Reagan, right? So, it kind of actually always been that way. The right wing has always, been like anti-fucking worker, right? Because they've been the worker of the management classes and the worker of the owner, the business owners, right? That's a bit of an issue, right? And we're having a realignment at the moment where unions are moving to the right. Like, for instance, the Teamsters Union decided that they weren't going to fucking endorse anybody, right? Which is a big step, away from like the Democrat Party anyway. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Also, by the way, if you want economics to work the way it's supposed to work, right, where you have money being printed and then you have inflation being shown, right? So they stop printing money. You have to like find a way to put money into the hands of consumers or into the hands of like workers. That way, they can drive up inflation with demand, right? Because if they keep printing money and they just hand it to fucking banks and then like they give it out in like loans at other banks, the inflation's never shown and it just ends up feeding the baby boomers, and keeps them retired, right? So here's another like picture of like the places that are going to end up being closed down. Here's a map of tonnage, right? Through each of the ports, right? So in 2022 versus 2023, volumes have actually gone down, right? Which happens when we went from a time period of everybody having cheap government cash and being at home and then buying a whole bunch of stuff off of Temu and fucking Amazon, right? And TikTok and shit, to a time when, your motherfuckers are hurting for cash, right? But you see the Port of Los Angeles, you know what I'm saying, covers about the same amount as the Port of New York, right? This wasn't always the case, right? In the end of the day. The Port of Savannah as well, and the Port of Houston make up as much as the Port of Long Beach, actually more, right? So that's, kind of big. You know what I'm saying? Port of Virginia, right? Sitting here looking, Charleston, Jacksonville, Miami, Baltimore, Everglades, New Orleans, Philly, Halifax, right? All these places, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Later 3/4, you know what I'm saying? I like, listen, they'll be here. You know how it works, right? Also, Donald Trump recently said that he will tariff the bullshit out of John Deere, right, for leaving America and building their shit in China and Mexico. You know, I'm pro that. You know what I'm saying? Like I am 100% pro that. I think that's a good thing, and that's something that, you know what I mean, we should all be supporting, right? In the end of the day. You know what I mean? Fucking this is actually like an older picture or whatever. This is from like a fucking Pennsylvania rally that he fucking had. Right? But let's keep rocking though. Our next story is about Gaza, right? So this little red arrow right here that I drew myself because I'm terrible at fucking drawing, right? This is where Gaza is in like the world, right? Listen, see Gaza Strip, little tiny place in the fucking world, right? And then here's like, you know what I mean, like a map of in general the Middle East and like kind of part of North Africa, mostly like, you know, fucking East Africa. So I drew circles around all the belligerents of like this upcoming like fucking war that's supposedly happening between Israel and Lebanon, right? All right, so you have Israel, who's the asshole who started all this shit, right? You know what I mean? And then they went and blew up a whole bunch of motherfucking pagers and shit, right? And they, you know what I mean, fucking sat here and like bombed a whole bunch of civilians and are killing children in hospitals. All the things that Israel likes to do. You know how they are. They really like killing Muslims, right? Just some motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Just some people's children are this way, right? So the people on, what up, Michael Hatfield? Nice to see you. There's people on both sides of this, and then there's other individuals, right? For like instance, there's wild cards and then there's failed states. So the failed states, Libya, Iraq, and Afghanistan, right? You know what I'm saying? These are places where the U.S. has bombed them so much that like they no longer have like a functioning government as per se, right? Or in general, they never had a government like Afghanistan, right? And then you have places where they have governments and like, you know, but they're just not pro-U.S. government, right? Like Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, Yemen, Iran, right? Then you have like pro-U.S. people, which would be Jordan, which is one of our oldest allies, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE, and Oman, right? These people are all like pro-U.S. You have Turkey, who is a wild card in this, who fucking hates Israel and they have a population that's getting older and a population that's becoming more unruly. They're a NATO ally because like they surround Russia, right? And they control some straits that, you know what I mean, lead to the Black Sea, right? Which is where Russia ends up floating a lot of its fucking like its only warm water navy comes out of, right? Then you got Ethiopia. Now this is a cool story. The Blue Nile flows through Ethiopia and they just built a dam there, right? And Egypt's not fucking happy about this because like the Blue Nile provides a lot of water for fucking Egyptian farming. So if, you know what I'm saying, like fucking a regional war actually pops off between Israel and Lebanon, right? What you can expect is Syria and Lebanon's going to get together, right? Because the largest part of Syria is military, right? So the largest part of fucking Syria, the Syrian army is Hezbollah, which is the Lebanese army, right? You know what I mean? Which is, you know what I mean, the army. And like they're not like a bullshit military, right? They're not like a bad one. Like these are probably like the class of the Middle East when it comes to like fucking militaries, right? You'll end up having Egypt. Their people are not going to be happy about this shit, right? Yemen is going to step up this Red Sea that leads into the Suez Canal, right? They're going to step up their attacks on shipping, right? You're going to end up having Iran make a lot of like fucking shit talk, and they're going to be talking all the cash shit that they possibly can, and they're probably going to launch off a bunch of shit, and they're going to supply a whole bunch of weapons. The U.S. is now fucking standing here like fucking putting in 100,000 troops into the Middle East right now, right? They just deployed a whole bunch of people to go to the Middle East. We're probably going to park our guys in Iraq, right? And in Saudi Arabia and in Jordan. Um, Turkey's going to pick up a whole bunch of like new fucking migrants probably coming out of Lebanon, right? So there's going to be, like a lot of shit going on in this neck of the woods. Now, do I think this is going to be an all out like fucking conflict like we saw in like a 1970s? No, right? Because I don't think they will let them have an all out conflict like the 1970s again, right? And that's kind of where shit's at the moment, man. Listen, boy, Brad, like, let me give you a motherfucking wrench because, like, yo, you don't have a fucking wrench. Add as moderator. Standard moderator. Say, listen, everybody gets a wrench in the wrench no state. That's how this works, right? So, now, as far as Afghanistan is concerned, expect Pakistan and China to be shipping arms through there in the Iran, right? Hey, you're welcome, sir. Right? Fucking, and Iran's going to be shipping weapons into Syria and Lebanon. As far as Russia's concerned, Russia has their own problems, but they're probably going to be feeding things in. Expect Turkey to probably be arming the Lebanese and the Syrians. Now, the U.S. is also probably going to use the Kurds, right? Like they always do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's their go-to fucking move is to use the Kurds to fight everybody else. Right, and actually have like you're gonna have ISIS pop back up or some new form of these fucking, supposed terrorist organizations, right? Because that's how the U.S. fights fucking wars. It might give us an excuse to go and do like all types of ill shit. Now, I do not expect us to be invading Iran, right, or anything along these type of lines, because that's not something that will help the United States long term, right? Like we don't really have a purpose in any of this shit. Excuse me. Right? Like we don't have regional interests here other than Israel. And I'll be honest with you, we're very quickly like losing our want to continue to defend fucking Israel from their nonsense. Because as I said, all this shit got started over Gaza, which by the way, Gaza is the size of Philadelphia, right? Like there's no reason why it is that we should continue to like fucking sit here and support Israel in their genocide of like fucking the Gazan people, right? And then their genocide of the Lebanese people. Like, I don't know how far we're going to allow this to continue before we go, wait. Hang on a minute. Because somebody stood up to them for doing a genocide, right? We are going to get upset about like them doing more. We're gonna allow them to do more genocide. This is not how this works, right? What up, Johnny boy? Right? We can't continue to allow them to just keep genociding fucking people, right? We're expending political will that at this point we're running very, very low on. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, we're running low on political fucking ability in, like, the world because we've expended a lot of our civilizational capital on nonsense that doesn't make any fucking sense and doesn't actually stand up for any of the things that we, like, say that we believe in, right? This isn't us supporting democracy or, like, fucking standing up for women's rights or any of these type of things. This is just literally us supporting a country being genocidal and a fucking leader continuing to try to like hold on to power long after he should have been kicked the fuck out. That's where we are at the moment, right? Because like that's all this is because Benjamin Netanyahu wants to maintain power, right? And like fucking continue to motherfucking like run the country while because of the fact that he was going to end up getting like fucking investigated and like fucking tried for crimes and all this type of shit. So he said, fuck it, I'm just going to start a fucking war, right? Which stops everybody from, continuing to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it is what it is. And I'll be honest with you, all right? Like, you shouldn't hate the fucking Jews or anything like that. But the state of Israel is a corrupt piece of shit fucking country and we shouldn't continue to defend them. Let's keep this all the way a buck. All right? Like, literally, and as I said, this whole fucking thing is literally over this tiny, itty-bitty little strip of land right here circled in red. Right? This whole fucking thing. right? Like this entire shit is over this little strip of land, right? That Israel fucking wants and wants to kick these people the fuck out of, right? Because they've had them sitting there living in like basically a concentration camp. Like, you name me the definition of fucking irony. A people who are living in a country, right, that was set up because, like, they were standing here fucking being, like, fucking put into concentration camps, putting other people in concentration camps, and then wondering why the world is fucking mad at them, right? Definition of fucking irony. Kayed, welcome, my brother. Here, fucking, let me hand you a motherfucking wrench, man. Welcome to the motherfucking channel. Everybody here gets a wrench when you hop in the chat. It's appreciated for y'all coming to fuck through, right? That is my gift to y'all, right? And Nick, motherfucking, allegedly, let me add a moderator to you too, my brother. Thank you for coming through, right? Everybody gets a goddamn wrench. This is a fucking wrench, no state, my friends, all right? That's kind of where we are, right? So, I mean, we shouldn't continue to fucking support this garbage-ass fucking country. Narcissism. Yeah, I feel you. I'm not 100% with that boy, right? If we're keeping this all the way honest, right? Like, I'm fine with the walls. I'm fine with any of that shit. Like, listen, you want to wall yourself off? I have no issue with that. I do have an issue where you're taking the native population of the land and, you know what I mean? Like, you're shooting them in the fucking face and then moving your people into their fucking houses, right? With their blood still on the fucking walls. That's something that I don't think should ever happen to anybody, right? You know what I mean? Short of like you actually taking that fucking land in a war, right? Keeping it a buck, right? Like, that's just not the proper way to do things. Right now, listen, if you want to conduct warfare, like every state has the right to conduct warfare, right? I guess I completely agree, right? Listen, they're shooting fucking Christians over there at this point. The Israelis are fucking shooting Christians and killing Christian Palestinians, right? And this is the part that, like, motherfuckers don't understand. Okay, like, yo, the Christians and the Muslims can get the fuck along, right? And there's tons of Christians living in these Muslim fucking countries. Like, some of the oldest Christian sects in the world are in, like, fucking this area in Syria and shit, right? And this is, yeah, I know, Kayed, right? I know. This is what the fuck we're talking about now, right? They're literally pushing them off their fucking land, putting Israelis on them, right? And fucking standing here, like, fucking expanding their population all over the fucking place. They're paying people to have fucking children, right? It's a fucking tragedy, right? It really is. And, you know, it's causing more and more migration, like, all over the place. And I understand they go like, hey, listen, there's Muslim countries all around there. The Muslims should go there and da-da-da-da. Right, but like, these are like, Palestinians have been living on this land for thousands of fucking years. This is fucking dumb, right? Like, no, you don't get to just push motherfuckers off the fucking land. And when the British used to stop them from doing shit, right, they literally start shooting at the fucking British back in the day, right? They fucking sunk our boats, right? They touched our boats. Right? They should never motherfucking be able to, like, touch our boats. Nobody's allowed to touch our boats, right? Yeah, Kayed, I understand. I fucking completely understand where you're at right now. You know, the Zionists have, you know what I'm saying, like, infiltrated our churches. And there's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of propaganda that, like, the boomers and the silent generation were handed, especially after World War II, where, you know, I mean, it was never again. You know, fucking, oh, you know, the Jews are perpetual victims, and they're fucking being picked on by, you know what I'm saying, like, by the rest of the world because they're different. It's that whole same ass line, you know, like, fucking the Muslims hate us because of our freedoms. It's that same dumbass bullshit we got fed. Just propaganda, just fucking propaganda shoved down our fucking throats, right? And, like, I'm thankful I shook that shit the fuck off, right? All this shit was, like, all propaganda. Just like the whole, like, gotta defend Israel shit forever. Propaganda. Right? And, like, we gotta break that propaganda. And we have to get people out of the ideology of going, like, listen, you know, fucking, we gotta support them no matter what the fuck they do. Like, we should be neutral towards all these fucking countries. You know, like, I don't understand why it is that, like, we have to keep throwing good money after bad for all these failed fucking experiments that we have constantly. Right? Like, these plans made by men who are long dead. You know, like, fucking, I didn't. Did any of you agree to like fucking pay taxes so that they could hand the fucking money off to like fucking Zionists and fucking Israel? I don't think any of us like agreed to any of this shit. None of us agreed to any of these things. Like they never asked me if any of this was okay. No. Okay? If we went line item by line item, like bro, like this would not be something that would pass, you know what I mean, on a mass scale. Let's keep it all the way above. Like if every American knew that a country, right, who had better healthcare than us, right, who like literally like we fund them with all their fucking military shit, right, was completely funded by us, you know what I mean, and they continue to like fuck us over and spy on us, and like if they reported this on the regular news of all the fuckery that Israel does all the time, right, legitimately, do you think we continue to support them? No. All right, well, I'm going to tell you right now, we would not. We would not continue to support them and their fucking nonsense. This is some stupid ass shit. Like, I don't know why it is that we're continuing to do this shit just repeatedly over and over and over again. Yo, Bishop, welcome, man. Welcome here. Fucking here, I'm gonna give you a motherfucking wrench, man. This is a wrench no state. Everybody gets a wrench in the chat. Thank you for showing the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? Welcome. You know what I mean? Everybody's welcome here. You know what I mean? I want to make sure nobody ever gets silenced in my fucking channel, right? Like this whole, you know what I mean, like Middle East thing, right? Half of these countries shouldn't exist. We're keeping it all the way 100, right? You know, half of this shit probably shouldn't exist. Like Saudi Arabia, like the only reason that Saudi Arabia, like the House of Saud, right, ended up like having this place is because they were there when the oil was discovered. And so they negotiated, like they had just taken over, right? They're not the long-term residents of this area, right? They were Bedouin people, right? Fucking the UAE, same shit, right? Fucking Kuwait. Again, new country, just fucking created whole cloth, right? Yemen's old, Oman's old, Iran's a real country, Syria's a real country, right? Ever heard of the Assyrians, right? You know what I'm saying? This all goes back, you know what I'm saying? Like that goes back a long way. The Lydians, right? These motherfuckers, Egypt, all these people go back a long ways, right? But the vast majority of these countries shouldn't probably fucking exist. Jordan, 100% real country. Right, Turkey, real fucking country. Lebanon, yes, it's a real place. Israel, no, not a real fucking country. Right, Israel's not real. Saudi Arabia is not real. UAE's not real. Kuwait's not real. Oman's not real. Iraq, sort of, kind of real. Iraq used to be Babylon back in the day. Right, they were the Babylonians, right? Like half of this shit, you know, and that's really the problem in the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Also, listen, Turkey's kind of real, all right? Like the Turks, I understand that like the Turks are technically steppish people, right? You know, talking about like a Turkmenistan, like an Uzbekistanis, right? They're the steppe people, right? But I mean, it was the Ottoman Empire. Right, the Turks are kind of the natural successor to like the Ottomans, right? So I'm gonna let Turkey have its shit. Like as far as borders are concerned, just borders in general, it works, right? They're the Ottomans. They're the new representation of the Ottomans. They took up the badge of the Ottomans, which is fine, right? You know what I'm saying? Right, so that's kind of where we're at. Like, I understand Turks belong to Mongolia. Not really Mongolia, think steppes, right? Not just, like, Mongolia is part of the steppes. The steppes run from, you know what I mean, Turkmenistan the whole way to the Pacific, right? You know what I mean? That whole, like, southern Russia, northern China, right? Listen, almost every country is founded on genocides, right? Like, that's just how countries are founded. But when we talk about this, in modern day, there's always going to be a country who pops up and genocides some people or pushes some people out, right? Because like you have to like kick an old government out in order to start a new one. And you sometimes are going to have to cleanse the supporters of that old government. Now, here's the thing: if you're gonna do it all in one fell swoop, you know what I'm saying? I agree. You know what I'm saying? Play country should be called the Empire Rothschild. Right, but agree. But these were bad genocides. Listen, I mean, the Armenian genocide was terrible. The Kurdish genocides were terrible. Right, like I agree with you. Right, there was Greeks that were genocide that were terrible. Um, with the Turks, but like in the end of the day, right, like the Turks are, you know, what I mean, fucking dumb people, and we weren't able to defeat them in war. You know what I'm saying? Mm. I mean, the Ottomans did regress major civilizations. Ottomans had like a lot of decent points to them, right? They really did. They had the swing of all like fucking, you know what I mean, like empires, right? Where like they had a build up that was really good. They brought technology. They saved technology. You know what I mean? They fucking like you know what I mean, ignited like a lot of technologies and shit. You know what I mean? And fucking reignited a lot of philosophy and like saved a lot of art and history and shit. And that's great, right? That's good shit. But you know what I mean, once they got comfortable and they got to be, you know what I mean, like at the peak of their power, they ended up becoming, you know what I mean, like really weak, like most fucking civilizations do. Name one Turkish invention that isn't culinary. I think like the whirling Durbans, probably. There's like a lot of religions and shit that they came up with, right? Hmm. I mean, it wasn't really the Byzantines fleeing to Europe as it were, you know what I mean, like fucking a lot of people coming back from like the Middle East and us doing trade in the Middle East, right? Especially after the Ottomans took over the Silk Road, right? Once they cut off the Silk Road, you know what I mean, like oh, that actually caused like the age of exploration and you know what I mean, like ignited like a lot of the like old shit. You know what I mean, where you ended up having trade being done with the Middle East once again, where they were like cut back into the mix, right? And you know what I mean, it allowed for like research and all this type of shit that they actually had preserved, which is probably a good thing. We should be thankful that they preserved a lot of the information that the Europeans did not, right? You know, so I mean, we should probably be grateful for some of that shit. You know, I mean, I'm not angry with like the Turks and like I mean, I can look up Turkish inventions, right? You know what I'm saying? I fucking let's see here, Turkish inventions. Inventions. Let's see here. I mean, oh, siege cannons, right? The Dardanelles gun, right? Uh, Cura. There's not a lot. I'll be real. There's not a lot. Wait, musket? What? Sitting here looking to see where not like where the musket come from because like it says like they like it says the Turks invented the musket, right? I mean, I don't 100% believe that. Oh, Casimir Lafille. No, that's a fucking French gunsmith. Sitting here looking. Right, hang on, bro. Hang on a minute. Like, I can tell you what. I'll show you all this shit. Browser. Add uh, window capture. Window capture. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's check this out. Let's see here. Musket horse, musket bands, rifle muskets, etymology, terminology, parts of a musket, accessories, history. I mean, let's see, Asia. 1500, South Asia, Middle East. Yeah, see, 1570. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, yo, fucking, there was a lot of shit that like went back and forth, right? I don't know. Hang on, right here. So this is what we're looking at. Right. All right. So this is Turkish inventions, right? As you asked, right? Listen, you asked me like what were the Turkish inventions, so we're gonna check this shit out, okay? The word deep state, right? Right. That's a Turkish word, right? You should say thank you for them giving us that word. I mean, Turkish archery, Turkish bow, Turkish crescent. I mean, Mameluke sword, cross-hilted, curved scimitar-like sword. Marching bands. Oh man, listen, that's a. They say they invented micro neurosurgery. I'm not 100% with that. There's a tank, a bolt action sniper rifle, MPT, musket. Hang on, right. There's an instrument, a Henk, Akala. I mean, listen, there's Anatolian rugs, Arfring, Aquabus, Arquibus. Yeah. I mean, like, there's things that they created, you know what I mean? Bow. I mean, they invented some stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a lot, right? But I mean, like, they did add some things to, like, the world, you know what I mean? Food. I'm trying to give them, like, the best thing that I can, you know what I mean? Listen, there's no way they invented racket pinion steering, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here. Look at this nonsense. Rocky. Listen, roasting jack. I mean, I don't think they invented that. But I mean, they did give us some guns, right? What's a Sipsy? At this point, we're just learning, all right? Alcoholic drink, a taco boat, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, listen, they gave us some stuff, So, I mean, you can't be like 100% mad about that shit, like fucking they did shit. Oh, man, listen. As moderate. Nobody Jones. Nobody. Welcome, my brother here. Have a fucking wrench. Everybody gets a wrench. Right? Fucking. Hey, you're fine. You're fine, dog. You're fine. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, we're gonna listen. Like we were asking questions about like what it is that they fucking did. You know what I mean? Long live the free state of PA. I agree. Like, yo, long live us. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? Fucking. Yeah, I'm not 100%. You know what I mean? Like, fucking sure of what's gonna happen. Hang on. Here's what we'll do, bro. Let me do this. Do this. All right, we'll go back to the map. Right. Turkish delight. Yeah, I agree. Right. Look. So like World War III, you know what I mean? Israel's trying to pop that shit off. Fucking I'm telling you, we're just gonna park 100,000 troops in Iraq and dare anybody to fucking move. Right? That's what's gonna end up happening. Yo, Anubis, welcome, my brother. Right? Fucking that's what's gonna end up being what it is. Yo, Shapiro's like, bro, Shapiro's his shit. Don't worry about it. Shapiro's cool as fuck. You know what I mean? Like fucking, he's you know what I mean? Like Shapiro's beast mode. I like him. You know what I mean? Almost all of us like him. He's pretty base and zaced. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at him in any way. Um, no deal, man. You know the deal. Nobody. Thank you for showing up, my brother. All right, but yo, listen. I've been banging for like a half hour here. I just wanted to drop this information to y'all because everybody's like, "When you doing some shit?" I just did some shit. All right. Yo, I'm Tom Pease with Pnoid News. Y'all know the deal. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. I'm up out of here. Peace.